Hey guys, it's Jenny Silver with a California update for you on Tuesday, September 28th. 2 days, there is a very important deadline for those of you who cannot pay your rent. I want to make sure that you understand very clearly that September 30th is a very important date for several different reasons. Number one, on September 30th, California's statewide eviction moratorium comes to an end. For those of you who could not pay your rent due to the COVID-19 pandemic, you are required to make a 25% payment of your back owed rent by September 30th in order to protect you from eviction. Additionally, September 30th marks the end date of eviction moratorium, which means that if you have not yet applied for rental assistance and you are in need of assistance because you cannot pay your rent going forward, make sure that you submit your application to Housing is Key for California rental assistance by September 30th. Why? Because after September 30th, you will no longer be protected from evictions due to non-payment of rent. You will want to make sure that you file that application before September 30th so that any problems that arise due to you not being able to pay your rent, you at least are protected by having that application on file and in progress while you figure out what is next. California Assembly Bill 832 protects renters from being evicted while their rental assistance applications are in progress up until March 31st, 2022, if their application is still being processed. Silicon Valley Law Foundation states that the protection is not automatic. If your landlord gives you an eviction notice for non-payment of rent, you must sign and return the declaration of COVID-19 financial distress that is included with the notice within 15 days of getting it from your landlord. Your landlord is required to give you this declaration of COVID-19 related financial distress form together with the eviction notice. Otherwise, their eviction is not valid. That you may need to pay rent in order to prevent an eviction. Your landlord can never evict you for any rent you missed from March 1st, 2020 to August 31st, 2020, as long as you gave your landlord that signed declaration in time. However, if you missed rent between September 1st, 2020 and September 30th, 2021, your landlord cannot evict you as long as, number one, you give your landlord your signed COVID declaration every time they ask for it, and number two, pay at least 25% of your rent from that time period by September 30th, 2021. Please visit housing.ca.gov to apply for rental assistance. Please visit housing.ca.gov to apply for rental assistance. Next, also coming up on September 30th, California healthcare workers are required to be vaccinated. Employees of hospitals, nursing homes, doctors' offices, clinics, and other medical facilities have until September 30th to get at least one dose of the vaccination under the new order issued by California's public health officer. In the meantime, they must either be vaccinated or undergo mandatory weekly testing under the state's previous order. Workers may be exempt from the vaccination requirements only if they provide a signed form to the facility manager stating either one of the following. Number one, the worker is declining vaccination based on religious beliefs, or number two, the worker is excused from receiving any COVID-19 vaccine due to qualifying medical reasons. Also required to be vaccinated are all California correctional officers and prison staff. A federal judge on Monday ruled that all correctional staff and staff members entering correctional facilities in the state of California are required to be vaccinated. Rejecting efforts to block this movement by Governor Gavin Newsom and the Prison Guards Union, the federal judge sided with a court-appointed receiver who is in charge of overseeing the medical care. The federal judge's order covers all 34 of California's prisons and does allow for religious and medical exemptions to be sought by the employees. Also noteworthy within the public health sector of California, yesterday on the 27th, Governor Gavin Newsom signed into law an executive order to extend telehealth services expansion. Moving to minimize the risk of COVID-19 exposure, expedite access to health care, and reduce strain on the health care delivery system, Governor Gavin Newsom signed an executive order to extend the provisions of a prior order that facilitates telehealth services by enabling medical providers to conduct routine and non-emergency medical appointments through telehealth without the risk of being penalized. Also signed into law yesterday was California Senate Bill 62. This makes California the first in the nation to require garment workers to earn an hourly wage. This means that fashion brands must pay garment workers by the hour, unless they collectively bargain to pay by the piece. Each link in the chain of production to sales, from the factories to the retailers, are held accountable to this and can be charged with wage theft if they do not comply. The California Chamber of Commerce objected to the measure, however, stating that it places enormous burdens on employers in the clothing industry. California Chamber of Commerce stated that this includes those that don't directly oversee the workers, but will now be liable for their mistreatment. The clothing industry warns that it could move jobs offshore, however, reversing a recent trend to move jobs back to America during the pandemic. Supporters of the bill say that it's meant to protect pay for a vulnerable workforce. Democratic Senator Maria Elena Durazo stated that for too long, bad actor manufacturers have exploited garment workers toiling in unsanitary conditions for as little as $5 an hour. She said that her bill will level the playing field for ethical manufacturers that are doing the right thing. This measure was among 18 job-related bills signed by Governor Newsom. Also signed was a measure that all employees with disabilities be paid at least minimum wage. California has become the 13th state to end a practice that allowed businesses with special licenses to pay people with disabilities sub-minimum wages, according to the State Council on Developmental Disabilities. It's estimated that close to 12,000 Californians with disabilities who work in what is called a sheltered workshop can be paid as little as 15 cents an hour under a federal policy which dates back to 1938. The law phases out these sub-minimum wages over the course of 3 years. By January 1st, 2025, it makes it illegal to pay an employee with physical or mental disabilities less than the legal minimum wage. Lastly, today is National Voter Registration Day, so please head over to nationalvoterregistrationday.org where you can get registered to vote. Okay, you guys, I hope that was helpful. Please click like, subscribe, and leave me a comment down below. The California Chamber of Converse, I keep saying Converse, the Chamber of Commerce, where you get your tennis shoes. Signed into law yesterday, it was California Senate Bill 62. Also coming up on September 30th, California healthcare workers are required to be vaccinated by September. I already said September 30th.